is something about the seafront, not just here in Bangor, but anywhere that meets the sea. A threshold. A sense, perhaps, that the horizon isn't just the edge of the visible world, but the edge of all things reasonable. It's July 30th, 2025, and I'm on the train to Bangor in County Down. On my left, the Titanic Museum and the empty slipways below. Now, you try not to compare yourself with the past. But today doesn't quite hold a candle to the same date in 1920. Dr William Jackson Crawford didn't go to work that day. It wasn't term time. He left the house late after 10.
Hello?
John, it's Elizabeth. Is William with you?
No? Why? Is everything all right?
I think so. He didn't say where he was headed, and he's been restless lately. Just off.
His wife, Elizabeth Crawford, would later clarify that on that morning, when he left without saying where he was going, he was in his usual health. Then, at 2 p.m, a telegram arrived.
From Clandyboy, County Down. Elizabeth, I've taken the strongest urge for a jaunt in the motor. William.
William, it turned out, had taken a jaunt, just north of Bangor town centre to the west side of the bay, where Brompton Road runs north, heading for the seashore. The sort of place you go when you want to be alone, but not too far from everything. Dr William Jackson Crawford was 40 years old, a lecturer in engineering, a man of straight lines and logical processes. He taught mechanics, he thought about stress and pressure and torques, the sort of forces that buckle steel, but not the only forces. Dr Crawford also believed in ghosts. This is the deposition of Sergeant Matthew McKeevery.
At 8:30 a.m. today, I received a phone message that a man was lying dead on the rocks at Bangor. He was dressed except that his overcoat was off and lying a few yards from him.
The scene was attended by Dr John Mitchell.
I am the medical officer of Bangor Dispensary District. In my opinion, the cause of his death was poisoning, probably by cyanide of potassium.
The body the jury has viewed is that of my husband, William Jackson Crawford. He was 40 years of age. I last saw him alive yesterday at 10:30 a.m. He was then in his usual health, but has been sleepless for 4 weeks past.
The jury's verdict? Suicide. Crawford was buried in Dundonald Cemetery and mourned by a great many men in respectable shoes with pocket watches. The local newspaper, the Newsletter, said he was
regarded as a man of exceptional attainments. He was keenly interested in spiritualism, and the results of some experiments which he carried out in connection with that subject were recorded in books that have had a very wide circulation.
Had a wide circulation. Now, I found them years later in antiquarian shops when spiritualism had returned to the fringes.
My purpose in writing these books is to advance our knowledge of psychic phenomena and the laws underlying them.
He spent several years conducting experiments on a family of psychics and mediums. This was the Gallagher Circle. They performed seances, table levitations, spirit rapping. Crawford measured the phenomena, weighed them, drew diagrams of things he said he couldn't see, only feel.
The truth, of course, is that nobody who has not visited the circle can have even the faintest idea of the magnitude of the forces involved and intensity of the phenomena produced.
Dr. Crawford had corresponded with Harry Houdini, the greatest Kabbalist. Before Houdini died, he agreed with his wife a secret phrase that only they knew. So, if a medium claimed to have contacted him in the afterlife, the phrase would be a test of their veracity. Dr. Crawford also left a secret message for his wife. The letter, however, was in a sealed envelope in his jacket pocket, and history has robbed us of its message. However, there is another letter. A few days before his death, he wrote to a magazine for spiritualists.
Everything is correct and will bear scrutiny. My brain was working perfectly and could not be responsible for my collapse. I wish to reaffirm my belief that the grave does not finish all.
Just a few days later, Dr. Crawford lay dead on the rocks by Bangor seafront, poisoned by cyanide.